Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Wonderful Kirtan, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. And also, like you gave me opportunity to speak, so really I express my gratitude for that. Thank you, devotees, for joining, and wish you a very happy Diwali. And I'm very happy to connect with all of you. So I'm seeking blessings of the Lord, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and I also seek blessings of Gaur Kumar Prabhuji, Nitya Kishori Mataji, Krishnan Prabhuji, and all you dear Vaishnavas present here that I speak in Guru Parampara. Hare Krishna. So let's do a quick recap before I share my slides for reading. So we all know that we are discussing third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and last Tuesday Sankirtan Acharya Prabhuji he very beautifully explained the story of two doorkeepers of Vaikunta, namely Jay and Vijay, and they were cursed by the sages. And we also saw that Jay and Vijay falls down from Vaikunta and enters Diti's womb. So that's the background for today's lecture on chapter 17 and 18. So today we will talk about how these two brothers grew. We are also going to tap on the concept of fear in asuras versus fear in devotees. We are going to look into that in detail. How Lord Varuna controlled his anger when he was provoked by Hiraṇyākṣa, and we will also see like how Hiraṇyākṣa is actually criticizing Lord, but his criticism are indirect praises as per the acharyas. It's indirect glorification as per our acharyas. So today's session is going to be extremely simple. Discussions also have kept it very simple. Majority of the content is collected by from lectures of His Grace Rajiv Lochan Prabhuji. I was also going through Bhagavad Subodhini by His Grace Gaurang Darshan Prabhuji. And one of the very beautiful article that I came across of His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhuji. So all this content has really helped me to prepare this lecture. So now we'll read the verses. Today I think total we have 28 and 31 verses. So two chapters, two devotees can read each chapter. So in indirectly 15 verses for every devotee. So I'll just share my screen. Um, okay, Nupur. I'll just share my screen. Just one second. Okay, I hope it's visible for all of you.
Yes, Mataji, yes, it's visible.
Yeah, I am not able to see my Zoom now. One second.
You might just have to move to Zoom.
Mhm. Yeah, I see Nupur has raised her hand. So, Nupur, you can go ahead for first 15 verses.
Hare Krishna. Sri
Hare Krishna.
Maitreya said, the demigods, the inhabitants of the higher planets, were freed from all fear upon hearing the cause of the darkness explained by Brahma, who was born from Vishnu. Thus they all returned to their respective planets. The virtuous lady Diti had been very apprehensive of trouble to the gods from the children in her womb, and her husband predicted the same. She brought forth twin sons after a full 100 years of pregnancy. On the birth of the two demons, there were many natural disturbances. All very fearful and wonderful in the heavenly planets, the earthly planets, and in between them. There were earthquakes along the mountains of the earth, and it appeared that there was fire everywhere. Many inauspicious planets like Saturn appeared along with comets, meteors, and thunderbolts. There blew winds which were most uninviting to the touch, hissing again and again and uprooting gigantic trees. They had storms for their armies and clouds of dust for their ensigns. Yeah. The luminaries in the heavens were screened by masses of clouds in which lightning sometimes flashed as though laughing. Darkness reigned everywhere, and nothing could be seen. The ocean with its high waves wailed aloud as if stricken with sorrow, and there was a commotion among the creatures inhabiting the ocean. The rivers and lakes were also agitated, and lotuses withered. Misty halos appeared around the sun and the moon during solar and lunar eclipses again and again. Claps of thunder were heard even without clouds, and sounds like those of rattling chariots emerged from the mountain caves. In the interior of the villages, she jackals yelled portentously, vomiting strong fire from their mouths, and jackals and owls also joined them with their cries. Raising their necks, dogs cried here and there, and now in the manner of singing and now of wailing. O Vidura! The asses ran hither and thither in herds, striking the earth with their hard hoofs and wildly braying. Frightened by the braying of the asses, birds flew shrieking from their nests, while cattle in the cowsheds as well as in the woods passed dung and urine. Cows, terrified, yielded blood in place of milk. Clouds rained pus, and the images clouds rained pus. The images of the gods in the temples shed tears, and trees fell down without a blast of wind. Ominous planets such as Mars and Saturn shone brighter and surpassed the auspicious ones such as Mercury, Jupiter, and Venus, as well as a number of lunar mansions. Taking seemingly retrograde courses, the planets came in conflict with one another. Marking these and many other omens of evil times, everyone but the four sage sons of Brahma, who were aware of the fall of Jay and Vijay and of their birth as these sons, was seized with fear. They did not know the secrets of their portents and thought that the dissolution of the universe was at hand. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Nupur. Manjari Gopi Mataji, you can go ahead.
These two demons, who appeared in ancient times, soon began to exhibit uncommon bodily features. They had steel like frames, which began to grow just like two great mountains. Their bodies became so tall that they seemed to kiss the sky with the crests of their gold crowns. They blocked the view of all directions and, while walking, shook the earth at every step. Their arms were adorned with brilliant bracelets, and they stood as if covering the sun with their waists, which were bound with excellent and beautiful girdles. Prajapati Kashyap, the creator of the living entities, gave his twin sons their names. The one who was born first he named Hiraṇyākṣa, and the one who was first conceived by Diti he named Hiranyakashipu. The elder child Hiranyakashipu was unafraid of death from anyone within the three worlds because he received a benediction from Lord Brahma. He was proud and puffed up due to this benediction and was able to bring all three planetary systems under his control. His younger brother, Hiranyaksh, was always ready to satisfy his elder brother by his activities. Hiranyaksh took a club on his shoulder and traveled all over the universe with a fighting spirit just to satisfy Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyaksh's temper was difficult to control. He had anklets of gold tinkling about his feet. He was adorned with a gigantic garland, and he rested his huge mace on one of his shoulders. His mental and bodily strength, as well as the boon conferred upon him, had made him proud. He feared death at the hands of no one, and there was no checking him. The gods therefore were seized with fear at his very sight, and they hid themselves, even as snakes hide themselves for fear of Garuda. On not finding Indra and the other demigods who had previously been intoxicated with power, the chief of the Daityas, seeing that they had all vanished before his might, roared loudly. After returning from the heavenly kingdom, the mighty demon, who was like an elephant in wrath, for the sake of sport, dived into the deep ocean, which was roaring terribly. On his entering the ocean, the aquatic animals who formed the host of Varuna were stricken with fear and ran far away. Thus Hiraṇyākṣa showed his splendor without dealing a blow. Moving about in the ocean for many, many years, the mighty Hiraṇyākṣa smote the gigantic wind-tossed waves again and again with his iron mace and reached Vibhavari, the capital of Varuna. Vibhavari is the home of Varuna, lord of the aquatic creatures and guardian of the lower regions of the universe where the demons generally reside. There, Hiraṇyākṣa fell at Varuna's feet like a low-born man, and to make fun of him, he said with a smile, "Give me battle, O Supreme Lord. You are the guardian of an entire sphere and a ruler of wide fame. Having crushed the might of arrogant and conceited warriors, and having conquered all the Daityas and Danavas in the world, you once performed a Rajasuya sacrifice to the Lord. Thus mocked by an enemy whose vanity knew no bounds, the worshipful Lord of the waters waxed angry, but by dint of his reason he managed to curb the anger that had sprung in him, and he replied, O dear one, we have now desisted from warfare, having grown too old for combat. You are so skilled in war that I do not see anyone else but the most ancient person, Lord Vishnu, who can give satisfaction in battle to you. Therefore, O chief of the Asuras, approach him, whom even heroes like you mention with praise. Varuna continued, on reaching him, you will be rid of your pride at once and will lie down on the field of battle, surrounded by dogs for eternal sleep. It is in order to exterminate wicked fellows like you and to show his grace to the virtuous that he assumes his various incarnations like Varaha.
Okay, thank you, Manjari Gopi Mataji. Anybody else who would like to take up the next chapter, chapter 18, first 15 verses? Jagannath Gopal Prabhuji, you can go ahead.
Maitreya continued. The proud and falsely glorious Daitya paid little heed to the words of Varuna. O dear Vidura, he learned from Narada the whereabouts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and hurriedly betook himself to the depths of the ocean. He saw there the all-powerful personality of Godhead in his boar incarnation, bearing the earth upward on the ends of his tusks and robbing him of his splendor with his reddish eyes. The demon laughed. Ho ho ho! An amphibious beast! The demon addressed the Lord. O best of the demigods, dressed in the form of a boar, just hear me. This earth is entrusted to us, the inhabitants of the lower regions, and you cannot take it from my presence and not be hurt by me. You rascal! You have been nourished by our enemies to kill us, and you have killed some demons by remaining invisible. Oh, fool! Your power is only mystic. So today I shall enliven my kinsmen by killing you. The demon continued. When you fall dead, with your skull smashed by the mace hurled by my arms. The demigods and sages who offer you oblations and sacrifice in devotional service will also automatically cease to exist like trees without roots. Although the Lord was pained by the shaft like abusive words of the demon, he bore the pain, but seeing that the earth on the ends of his tusks was frightened, he rose out of the water, just as an elephant emerges with its female companion when assailed by an alligator. The demon, who had golden hair on his head and fearful tusks, uh, gave chase to the Lord while rising from the water, even as an alligator would chase an elephant. Roaring like thunder, he said, "Are you not ashamed of running away before a challenging adversary? There is nothing reproachable for shameless creatures." The Lord placed the earth within his sight on the surface of the water and transferred to her his own energy in the form of the ability to float on the water. While the enemy stood looking on, Brahma, the creator of the universe, extolled the Lord, and other demigods rained flowers on him. The demon, who had a wealth of ornaments, bangles, and beautiful golden armor on his body, chased the Lord from behind with a great mace. The Lord tolerated his piercing ill words, but in order to reply to him, he expressed his terrible anger. The personality of Godhead said, "Indeed, we are creatures of the jungle, and we are searching after hunting dogs like you. One who is freed from the entanglement of death has no fear from the loose talk in which you are indulging, for you are bound up by the laws of death. Certainly, we have stolen the charge of the inhabitants of Rasatal and have lost all shame. Although bitten by your powerful mace, I shall stay here in the water for some time because, having created enmity with a powerful enemy, I now have no place to go." Actually, can you scroll up? Who is saying this?
The charge of inhabitant. So I this is said by Lord
Lord,
Varun.
na? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You are supposed to be the commander of many foot soldiers, and now you may take prompt steps to overthrow us. Give up all your foolish talk and wipe out the cares of your kith and kin by slaying us. One may be proud, yet he does not deserve a seat in an assembly if he fails to fulfill his promised word. Sri Maitreya said, "The demon, being thus challenged by the personality of Godhead, became angry and agitated, and he trembled in anger like a challenged cobra. Hissing indignantly, all his senses shaken by wrath, the demon quickly sprang upon the Lord and dealt him a blow with his powerful mace. The Lord, however, by moving slightly aside, dodged the violent mace blow aimed at his breast by the enemy, just as an accomplished yogi would elude death."
Okay. Thank you, Jagannath Gopal Prabhuji. Anybody else would like to continue?
I can. Acha, okay. Nupur can go ahead.
Okay, Nupur, you can go ahead. You can complete the chapter.
Okay. The personality of Godhead now exhibited his anger and rushed to meet the demon, who bit his lip in rage, took up his mace again, and began to repeatedly brandish it about. Then, with his mace, the Lord struck the enemy on the right of his brow. But since the demon was expert in fighting, O gentle Vidura, he protected himself by a maneuver of his own mace. In this way, the demon Hiraṇyākṣa, and the Lord, the personality of Godhead, struck each other with their huge maces, each enraged and seeking his own victory. There was keen rivalry between two combatants. Both had sustained injuries on their bodies from the blows of each other's pointed maces, and each grew more and more enraged at the smell of blood on his person. In their eagerness to win, they performed maneuvers of various kinds, and their contest looked like an encounter between two forceful bulls for the sake of a cow. O descendant of Kuru, Brahma, the most independent demigod of the universe, accompanied by his followers, came to see the terrible fight for the sake of the world between the demon and the personality of Godhead, who appeared in the form of a boar. After arriving at the place of combat, Brahma, the leader of thousands of sages and transcendentalists, saw the demon who had attained such unprecedented power that no one could fight with him. Brahma then addressed Narayana, who was assuming the form of a boar for the first time. Lord Brahma said, "My dear Lord, this demon has proved to be a constant pinprick to the demigods, the Brahmanas, the cows, and the innocent persons who are spotless and always dependent upon worshipping your lotus feet. He has become a source of fear by unnecessarily harassing them. Since he has attained a boon from me, he has become a demon, always searching for a proper combatant, wandering all over the universe for this infamous purpose." Lord Brahma continued, "My dear Lord, there is no need to play with this serpentine demon, who is always very skilled in conjuring tricks and is arrogant, self-sufficient, and most wicked." Brahma continued, "My dear Lord, you are infallible. Please kill this sinful demon before the demoniac hour arrives and he presents another formidable approach favorable to him. You can kill him by your internal potency without doubt. My lord, the darkest evening which covers the world is fast approaching. Since you are the soul of of all souls, kindly kill him and win victory for the demigods. The auspicious period, known as Abhijit, which is most opportune for victory, commenced at midday and has all but passed. Therefore, in the interest of your friends, please dispose of this formidable foe quickly. This demon, luckily for us, has come of his own accord to you, his death ordained by you. Therefore, exhibiting your ways, kill him in the duel and establish the worlds in peace. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you, Nupur. Thank you, Manjari Gopi Mataji. And thank you, Jagannath Gopal Prabhuji, for reading. I'll just recite Mangalacharan. Okay. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्तुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 Hare Hare. Thank you, devotees. I'll just go and share my screen again. Just one sec. Can somebody please confirm if my slide is visible?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. So, yes, we are going to start with chapter 17 and 18 today. And the name of the chapter is Victory of Hiraṇyākṣa over all the directions of the universe, which is 17th chapter, and 18th chapter name is the battle between Lord Boar and the demon Hiraṇyākṣa. So, this is something I've taken from Subodhini again, how the chapter is divided. So first 15 verses we get to see that the inauspicious omens after the birth of brothers, it's explained in that. The next verse is how the brothers grew up. And after that, we get to see that Hiraṇyākṣa starts conquering in all directions. Last but not the least, the conclusion of this chapter is conversation between Varuna and Hiraṇyākṣa. So I have kept it red. Whatever is in red, we are going to go in detail in these topics. So, and 18th chapter, again, it's divided into four parts. Hiraṇyākṣa starts criticizing Lord Varaha. And after that, Lord's fitting reply to Hiraṇyākṣa is given. And then there is a fight between Lord and Hiraṇyākṣa. And last, Brahma requested Lord Varaha to kill Hiraṇyākṣa. So there are some of the subtopics, and we will go in detail today, the ones which are in red. So constantly while preparing for this chapter, all the scenes of Mahavatar Narsimha were running in my mind. And let's begin. So we will discuss how demonic spirit is developed versus how divine spirit is developed. So when we see Hiranyakashipu and his brothers, like Hiranyakashipu was himself a great materialist, and we all know that he always wanted to enjoy wealth and all the bodily pleasures. He had a strong body as well as he had a very good strong position. So he trained his brother also in same spirit. So this is completely like a demonic tendency or demonic spirit for my sense enjoyment, my people, especially family members and other resources. All these things will be engaged for my sense gratification. So this is demonic spirit. In contrast to this, we get to see divine spirit, and Srila Prabhupada also call it as godly spirit. So it means to utilize everyone, every resources in service of the Lord. So that is the central difference between demonic and godly service. Activities may be the same, but the point of satisfaction is different. So we get to see that Hiranyakashipu engaged his brother, and his brother also cooperated with him. So what is the goal of Hiranyaksha? The goal of Hiranyaksha is to just satisfy his brother. Because by satisfying his brother, he knows that he will also get some sense gratification. So I will also get the share of whatever we all are looting around the world. So cooperation for sense enjoyment will be the demonic spirit. And I have put them into boxes. So here they're talking about my sense enjoyment, engaged to serve own egos, and then we get to see that they are cooperating for my sense enjoyment. Again, there is a cooperation for sense enjoyment. On the contrary, in the off-white box, we get to see whenever we have divine spirit, they are going to talk about Krishna's satisfaction. They are going to be engaged to serve the Lord, and they will also cooperate with each other for Lord's satisfaction. So here when you see at the left side, we get to see that here this is in red, my own and my. On the right side we get to see Krishna is in the center, Krishna's satisfaction, serving the Lord, cooperation for Lord's satisfaction. So these are the two boxes, one is gray and one is the off-white box. So just a quick question just to initiate some discussion, very small answers or you can go in detail as per your comfort. I just wanted to ask you as devotees, what do you think? Like, as devotees, are we in this box, the gray box, or an off-white box? So you can just unmute and speak.
Is there a third box in between?
You can go ahead, Prabhuji. Maybe you can only explain. There is no box in between as such, but you can go ahead.
So, see, these are very deep points, and this is so wonderful that you've brought it up. But yeah, um, it's very complicated for conditioned souls because on one hand, we want to serve Krishna, we want to engage in his service, and we want to cooperate, but often that's very difficult because of our preconceived notions and everything. So I guess it's more of a we are in that phase of journey from left to from the gray to the off-white zone. So yeah, and in one sense, even aspiring for being on the right, I mean, being in the off-white section is also good enough. That is what Krishna sees, whether we are sincerely striving or not. So we might be seeking some enjoyment for ourselves even while being in the process of bhakti, but then ultimately we know that okay, I this is ultimately it's about Krishna. Ultimately, it's not about me. And then as long as we know that, as long as we are working towards that, I think we would. I think it's safe to say that we would be in the off-white section. I don't know. Yeah, I just said what came to my mind. So.
Yes, Prabhuji, I completely echo with your words because yes, definitely. I couldn't put the box in the center, but yes, I see myself somewhere in the center. Like we all have that demonic spirit quality sometimes I feel, and we are practicing devotees. And here I think devotee association is a big savior, and I'm trying to keep Krishna in the center and surround my life, my all decisions around Krishna. But I'm also somewhere in between, definitely. So I just saw Nitya Kishori Mataji's chat where she said like we all want to be in the right side, but we are actually in the gray side. So like I totally relate to these answers. And now we are going to discuss even further asuras and devotee. We are going to always like going to distinguish in next slides. So we have a wonderful quote given by His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhuji. Here he is mentioning that inside us we have monsters, and when those monsters become our masters, we act like monsters. So, this is again stressing to that point that let's make Krishna as our master, then all our actions, all our behavior, whatever identity we have, everything will be perfect. And when Krishna is in, danger will be out. And when Krishna is out, danger will be in. So always let's try to surround ourselves with many devotees, and let's have this journey together. And moving forward, so here we are going to talk about Hiraṇyākṣa, and he was very strong in his body and mind, and he received special boons that these two brothers will not be killed by ordinary devtas. So we get to see that asuras generally they are physically strong, they are also mentally strong, and they have all they struggle to get to receive some boons so that they get some protection. And after that it increases their pride. Once they get the boon, once they receive the boon, that will increase their pride, and ultimately there is fearless, they become fearless. So it is also given in the purports that asuras are strong physically, they are strong mentally, they have special boons that makes them proud, and that leads to fearlessness. So they became so proud and fearless that they can even challenge God. They start challenging God, and to such an extent that they can call themselves as God. So, on the other hand, devotees are always like they are already fearless. So what do you think? Maybe you can put up in the chats if you're comfortable. What do you think? Do devotees follow these steps to in order to become fearless? What do you think? It can be either answer can be yes or no.
No, definitely no.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so most of you are they are answering like it's no, we don't have to follow this in order to be fearless. So devotees may not have a sound health, they may not have good physical health, they may not be mentally strong, may not be, they may not have material boons like asuras, but still they are fearless. So They are directly fearless. They don't need all this in order to become fearless. They are directly fearless. But still, I would say this slide is incomplete because we don't see Krishna taking shelter of Krishna anywhere in this slide. So, in like after one slide, we'll get a complete picture. Moving forward, I just wanted to ask you. So, this is Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad Maharaj. Is the picture completely visible to you? Okay. Okay. So my question to all of you is, what do you think, from where does Asura derive their fearlessness? And from where does, like, devotees, they will derive their fearlessness? Is it different? Is it same? If you can answer or put into chats. Faith and surrender makes a devotee fearless. Absolutely correct. Yes, Mataji, Nitya Kishori Mataji. Anybody else would like to answer? Okay, so going ahead, Hiranyakashipu was fearless because of all material calculations we had already seen in the previous slide. And he thinks that he is immortal and therefore he is fearless. Devotee may have those things. Manjiri Gopi Mataji also messaged, looks like he took all beads from Prahlad's room. Yeah, possibly. Yeah. Yeah. So devotee may have these things, may not have these things. And we see that example in Prahlad Maharaj. Actually, when Hiranyakashipu, he asks Prahlad, from where do you get this courage to defy my authority? And in that, Prahlad Maharaj says that my father, I get my courage from the same source from where you get your courage. I repeat, Prahlad Maharaj is saying that I get my courage from the same source from where you get your courage. So the source is the same. If we put Krishna into the slide or into the picture, so this is the same slide where both are fearless. The source of fearlessness is actually the same for asuras and the devotees. So what's the difference? So here the difference actually is that asuras, they do not recognize Krishna as the source of fearlessness, and devotees, on the contrary, they recognize the source of fearlessness. So that's the main difference between asuras and devotees. So far we had seen, like, they both are fearless. The source of the fearlessness is also Krishna. Asuras are not recognizing Krishna as source of fearlessness, and because of that, we get to see that asuras don't have any gratitude for Krishna. They don't pray for Krishna. But on the contrary, we get to see that devotees will pray. They will express gratitude. They will try to keep Krishna in the center, and that's the shelter that is given by Krishna, the shelter that they feel, that makes them fearless. So I wanted to ask you one question. Now we know that both are fearless. So my question is, are asuras really fearless? What is your take on that? Okay, she says no. MNN.
That's Manan Prabhu.
Okay, Mananand Prabhu. Okay. But I didn't get him, like, no to which question, or I didn't get
I
him.
think that's to the most recent question. Is Asura's
Okay.
fearlessness
Okay,
really
okay, okay. Got it. So they are fearful. So they are not fearless. That's what most of you are saying. Megha also messaged of losing their power. Okay. Okay. So the answer is, they are not really fearless. They are fearful. And even though asuras look fearless in face of different kinds of material conditions, they also become fearful. So we will understand this with a nice example, when in Kurukshetra, before war, asuras are not fearless. Yes, Krishnan Prabhuji. So before war, we get to see when Duryodhan is actually observing the army, and when Arjuna is observing the army. So what they are observing is completely different from each other. So Arjun, if we see, Arjuna was not seeing what big strength the opposite party has got. He was just seeing, with whom am I going to fight? He was only concerned with this one thing, with whom am I going to fight? And that he was observing in the opposite party. But whereas we get to see that Duryodhan was examining, like he was comparing the strength, he started finding fault in his guru Dronacharya, and then was calculating the strength of warriors on both the sides. He's comparing further and he concludes at the end that our strength is immeasurable and they are protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas strength of Pandavas is protected by Bhima, which is limited. So this is his calculation that is going on in his head. And actually, if we see, then Pandava's army was nothing in front of Duryodhan. But in spite of this, Duryodhan is so cautious. He's constantly thinking whether he will be victorious or not. He's still baffled, and we get to see that he's actually convincing himself that no, I have got a very good army. He's trying to gain confidence by saying materially like how nicely he has arranged everything. But actually, we can actually make out that in spite of that fear in his heart, his fear is getting revealed in that chapter, in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So they are not actually fearless. So it's also mentioned in purports of Bhagavad Gita that when Bhishma on Kaurava's side, they blew their conch shell, he felt very joyful. But when Krishna and Arjuna blew their conch shell, the heart of Duryodhana and Kauravas, it was shattered. So even though he was so much confident, he was so much fearless, but we see him becoming fearful after hearing the conch shell blown by Krishna and Pandavas. So moving next. So here Srila Prabhupada says that one who takes shelter of the Supreme Lord has nothing to fear even in the midst of the greatest calamity. So devotees, yes, they derive their fearlessness from the dependence and surrender onto Lord Krishna. Yes, so this is my favorite part of the entire lecture. So we will dive a bit deeper into these. This is a wonderful illustration given by His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhuji on the concept fear. And I got this from one of his article on fear. So this is very interesting. And I will also share later on like what were my realizations while going through this particular illustration. So let's understand what it is. Then I think we can have a discussion on that later on. So fear, and this is fearlessness. So in this quadrant, we have four quadrants: cautious, courageous, reckless, and paralyzed. On the right side, this is healthy fear. On here, on the left side, we get to see this is healthy fearlessness. So from this illustration, we can arrive to the understanding that fear can be healthy and fearlessness is also healthy. But on the other side, we get to see this is unhealthy fear and this is unhealthy fearlessness. So these are the four quadrants, and we will open up the discussion towards the end of this topic. So let's understand what is healthy fear. So healthy fear, we know that some people say that we need to conquer our fear, etc. But the fact is that fear is very natural, and sometimes it keeps us protected. It keeps us alert. So actually, such fear is healthy fear. It's not that it's bad fear. So, example given by Chaitanya Charan Prabhu was that if we are too close to the edge of the mountain cliff and the ground below is slippery, so we need to have a healthy fear. We cannot be fearless there. We need to have healthy fear. On the left side, we have healthy fearlessness. So it is true that, we become successful when we are fearless. We need to be fearless. We got to push ourselves towards the purpose of life. For example, we get to see firefighters. They will rush to the scene of a fire and they plan to extinguish the fire. Also, the same we see in case of soldiers in army. Your dedication to service is higher than the personal fear. So, healthy fearlessness doesn't mean that your fear is absent. Your fear is there, but fear is less. Your fear is little bit more. But here the fear is less. Therefore, it is fearless. But this is also a healthy category of fearlessness. Let's go to the next, the third part, where we have unhealthy fearlessness. So here fear will sorry, this type of fearlessness is actually foolishness or carelessness. Like, I will do what I want and I don't care with rules and regulations, etc. For example, if let's say if someone is playing with firecrackers in a crowded place and imagining that there is no danger around, but such fearlessness is not healthy, and that can actually create more disaster. And we get to see that even criminals and terrorists, they do come under this quadrant of unhealthy fearlessness. On the right side down at the bottom, we get to see like unhealthy fear. So here decision making is not done at all. The fear will control your decision making. For example, a person did Prahlad had a healthy fear, or was he completely fearless? Okay, I'll get back to you, Proji. Was he completely fearless? For example, a person involved in a car crash, he gets some slight injuries, and now he decides to not drive car. In fact, not he doesn't want to sit in the car, he doesn't want to drive the car, etc., because he has some past trauma. So he left sitting in the car, he's not going to drive anymore. So this will actually reduce the capacity of that one person to do anything substantial, and even in the slightest fear they will not take up any step. So here a person will completely fail to reach his full potential. So, getting back to the question, was Prahlad Maharaj completely was having healthy fear or healthy fearlessness? I would say healthy fearlessness. That is my understanding, but this question is open to all. If anybody is free to, correct me if I'm wrong, but I definitely feel like he had healthy fearlessness because he took complete shelter of Lord. So fear was less, but he had a healthy fearlessness. So, going to the next part, I just wanted a few of you, if you can name any one character for healthy fear who was cautious. You have to name the character from Mahabharat, and you can also tell me the incident where they have manifested healthy fear. So, anybody can, if you want, you can just unmute and just go ahead. You can also drop in the chat. It can be a guess. Anyone in Mahabharat you feel had healthy fear?
Only from Mahabharata?
Or you can give other examples also, Prabhuji. That's completely
Yeah,
fine.
let me think. Mahabharata. Healthy fear. Um, Arjuna.
Okay.
But wait. Yeah, like initially when he said now that in the Bhagavad Gita that if I fight, then the men of the kingdom will be killed, and
Mm-hmm.
therefore the Pindadan will stop. Therefore, the
Mm-hmm.
women will be exploited, and Varna Sankara will be born, and that will create a whole havoc in society.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they will also not do Pindadan, and so many things he says. So I think he's being cautious there. I don't know. Sometimes I'm starting to feel that's paralyzed also. That may be in the unhealthy fear quadrant.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'll have to think more about healthy fear quadrant. Yeah.
Okay. So, yes, Prabhuji, I accept your answer. Only a slight difference, because here, the way I have understood this particular illustration, and you can correct me, I'm always free for corrections. So, I feel like Arjun will always like fall into healthy fearlessness, because
Mhm.
after listening to Bhagavad Gita, he actually became fearless, and that was healthy. He became courageous. And here, fear is even lesser than this particular first quadrant.
Yeah.
So I think and of course, like before Bhagavad Gita, after listening to his words, after reading about his words, I feel like he was totally paralyzed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So before Bhagavad Gita and after Bhagavad Gita, that was his journey from this quadrant to that quadrant. So the healthy fear was actually manifested by Abhimanyu. So during the scene, if you remember the Chakravyuh scene in War, so he knew how to penetrate, but he didn't know how he's going to exit from the Chakravyuh. So there was a high risk involved, and he had actually manifested the healthy fear. But his uncles assured him that, that we all uncles will follow you and we will protect you and break the Chakravyuh from within. So he had manifested the healthy fear, but he was cautious. He was cautious throughout the scene. He was cautious. Here the fear is little more, and here definitely the example of healthy fearlessness is Arjuna. And can anybody name any character for unhealthy fearlessness from Mahabharata or any other scripture?
I think healthy fearlessness. I had one more example.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Uh, is Draupadi
Mm-hmm.
when she when she was getting disrobed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, she raised her hand, which is a sign of fearlessness. That means she was surrendering to the Lord, and the Lord did protect her. Just a thought.
Yes, yes. I totally agree with you, Prabhuji, that like she had manifested healthy fearlessness, completely surrendered. And fear is very less because she has completely surrendered it to the Lord and she has taken shelter. So, very nice example, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Unhealthy fearlessness, unhealthy fearlessness is Karna. Okay, and some other answers were like Dhritarashtra, Duryodhan, etc. So, yes, I accept all your answers. Here, like unhealthy fearlessness, someone who is reckless, careless. So we get to see in Duryodhan specifically. Because if you remember, he was rejecting all the peace proposals. He also rejected the proposal given by Lord himself. And then Duryodhan's confidence was a misplaced confidence. And later on we get to see that he took so many careless decisions back to back, and there was like devastation. The consequences were devastating at the end. So here Duryodhan will fall into unhealthy fearlessness. Let's talk about unhealthy fear. Any guesses? Someone in the scripture that you know that character is like paralyzed.
Mm, unhealthy fear. So,
Okay, Arjuna. Megha says Arjuna. Yes, before Bhagavad Gita.
does it have to be a positive character or they can be villain also?
Prabhuji, it can be any character. That's why
Okay.
I told it can be a character, and that one incident they were paralyzed. It can be a positive character, negative character. Ashwatthama was reckless. Yes, absolutely. Manjari Gopi Mataji.
This one, what's his name? Kamsa was paralyzed because he
Mm-hmm.
was like imagining Krishna, hallucinating, too much fear he had.
Yes, yes. Perfect, perfect, Prabhuji. So he was completely paralyzed, Kamsa. And we also get to see Dhritarashtra, that he was also completely paralyzed. Once he understood that the war is declared, and he was so much attached to his son, Duryodhan, and he was paralyzed thinking about the war, and he was constantly thinking that all my sons will be killed in the war, and he couldn't take proper decisions actually, and Duryodhan exploited his situation. So Dhritarashtra and so many other examples that you all gave, I can totally relate to it.
Actually,
uh,
one more group of people that I want to talk about in
mhm,
this paralyzed. I want to just understand if they were paralyzed or not. Like uh, Bhishma
mhm,
and Drona and all the elder Kurus, right, during the disrobing of Draupadi.
mhm,
I think Bhishma got into some technicality that, wife is property of husband, but then husband is only gone.
mhm, mhm,
Then what can anyone do, and things like that. And yeah, basically nobody did anything out of whatever fear. I don't know exactly what the reasoning was, but maybe that is also unhealthy because Yeah, I mean, if you're fearful of breaking moral codes
Yeah.
when Draupadi is asking for help, that is actually unhealthy, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Like that. Anyway, just
Definitely, Prabhuji. Wonderful example that you had given. I never thought about it. But yes, Bhishma and Dronacharya, they were also paralyzed. She was asking for protection, but they couldn't take any decision. They couldn't help her. So they both of them do come under this at that particular incident. So the
yeah,
name and the incident, that particular incident, they were paralyzed.
yeah.
So moving next,
One more example, Mataji.
yes,
Maybe
Prabhuji.
maybe maybe Gajendra, while he was uh, while he was fighting uh, the crocodile,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't say that he was fearful, but he got tired fighting. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, maybe that's not a good example, but he was stuck. He was
Yes.
stuck for thousands of years, for
Mm-hmm.
1,000 years while he was.
Yes, Prabhuji, absolutely. Gajendra, though, like, it's a very nice example because it's a positive character where he was paralyzed before, but then after reciting prayers, this was something that happened. He took shelter of Krishna, and that's how he became courageous. He found that shelter in the prayer that he made. So, very wonderful examples given by all the devotees. Moving forward, just a quick pictures over here. She's courageous, this person is cautious. This one is paralyzed, and here you get to see he's reckless, as it is. We get to see their expressions. And there were some few of the realizations that I got when I was pondering upon this particular illustration, because I found this extremely interesting. So let me share with you that unhealthy quadrants, the quadrants at the bottom, they will always make us dysfunctional. Whereas in healthy quadrant, one can stay functional. We can achieve things, we can be successful over here. But in unhealthy quadrants, we may be dysfunctional. No achievements, nothing, not going forward, just wandering here and there, not knowing what is going on. The next realization was like one can always move around the quadrants. So I like the question by Jagannath Gopal Prabhu when he asked, should I answer a positive character or a negative character? It can be any character, but we all can move around the quadrants. Like we constantly keep on taking decisions in our life. There are some major decisions. During one decision, I can be courageous. During the other decision, I can be totally paralyzed. So the person is same, positive, negative, anyone, we all can move around these quadrants. The next one was attachments are actually higher in unhealthy quadrants. So attachment to moral codes, as Jagannath Gopal Prabhu said, attachment to your mind, attachment to your family members, maybe. So we can fall into unhealthy quadrants over here. But actually, when we start working on attachments, when we start using our intelligence, we start finding some knowledge, etc. Or when we have a strong purpose in life, when we have a good purpose and a strong purpose in life, then we can actually go into the healthy quadrants. And last but not the least, which is my favorite, which is good association guides and mentors in healthy quadrants. We get to see all our well wishers, good association, our guides, our mentors, our spiritual masters. We'll get all of them in healthy quadrants, healthy fearlessness and healthy fear in these two quadrants. And bottom, we will not get guides and mentors in unhealthy. We may get, okay, the thing is we may get good guides and mentors, but the reckless person will never hear to them. I mean, they just want to go as they like. They just want to take up the decision that they feel like doing it. They are never going to listen to guides and mentors and well wishers. Duryodhan, for example, like so many of them were trying to give him some good advices. Like Vidura, he was constantly giving good advices, but he was not listening. And that's why he's not accepting a good guide also. He's not accepting. And here, when paralyzed Dhritarashtra, even he has good guides around him, like Bhishma, Dronacharya, they are warning him again and again. Even Lord Krishna came in taking up peace proposal, but he's paralyzed. So this actually stresses on the importance of having devotee association, guides, and mentors so that we all can stay in the healthy quadrants, because this will make us more functional in our spiritual as well as material life. And so will you want to share your understanding on the chart, or if any personal incidences where you have experienced any particular quadrant in your life? Yes, Krishna Prabhuji, you can go ahead.
I had one more example for reckless. It
Mm-hmm.
was Chitraketu's wives
Mm-hmm.
who killed the the baby
Mm-hmm.
by poisoning the baby because they were fearful uh, that Chitraketu would that the child would become would become a king. So it led them to do reckless things.
Perfect,
But
perfect, Prabhuji.
yeah,
Yes, Prabhuji, totally agreed. Totally agreed. Yes, anybody else who would like to speak up, like any incidences where you feel like you were courageous in one incident, you are paralyzed in the other incident, or you want to give any of your realization on this chart? Okay, we can move forward. So there is one more video regarding this particular chart. So So we understand that this person actually is not feeling confident enough. So definitely this person is falling into unhealthy fear where he is totally paralyzed. He is doing something but not having that confidence. So this is something we all experience in our lives. It's not that unhealthy fear, unhealthy fearlessness. We are not good people or something like that. We are mentally blocked, and here the person is going, he is building confidence as and when he is taking action, the person goes moves forward. So we see this in our spiritual lives also. Sometimes we are just stuck at one point, and sometimes we get that confidence and we start moving forward in our spiritual journey. And this can happen, I truly believe it can happen with good association, with good guides and with mentors, spiritual master, someone who guides us. So we can always fall into the healthy categories, the healthy quadrants. So moving forward, so let's come back to the story where actually Hiranyaksh went and he challenged Lord Varuna, and he provoked Lord Varuna to fight, and Varuna had no desire to unnecessarily fight. So Lord Varuna became very angry at first when he was making fun of Lord Varuna. But then when he was offered to fight, but then he controlled his anger with different reasons and he calmly spoke to Hiranyaksh. So we are going to connect this particular story with the story of Dhruv Maharaj from Bhagavatam, when Dhruv Maharaj started killing all the yakshas, and he did it all that in anger. So we will try to connect and we will understand some anger management from our scriptures. The points and the tips were already there. So here we get to see Dhruv Maharaj in Srimad Bhagavatam. He became unnecessarily angry because his brother Uttama was killed by one of the yakshas. And then Dhruv Maharaj was very angry, and in order to retaliate, he started, fighting with yakshas. So he killed the yaksha which was guilty. Along with that, he started killing the innocent yakshas also. So this was witnessed by his grandfather Swayambhuv Manu, and he came to his grandson and he gave some few advices. He gave some few advices, and listening to those advices, Dhruv Maharaj immediately he became very peaceful and gave up his anger, and he stopped fighting. So when we go back, we get to see similar. This is a similar situation where Hiranyaksh is actually provoking Lord Varuna. And he's making fun. He's saying that you are guardian, you once performed Rajsuya Yagya, give me the battle, I want to fight with you. So he's actually provoking Lord Varuna. But Lord Varuna, in spite of being angry, he stopped his anger. So this is something that we learn from such exalted examples in our scriptures. So let's understand first like what Swayambhu Manu said to Dhruv Maharaj in order to calm him down. So the first one, it says that unnecessary anger is not at all useful. And even anger of Lord is for the benefit of everyone. And if we know the examples, Narad Muni's anger towards Nalakuber and Manigriva, it was very good. And I mean, it was very beneficial for them. It was for their welfare. And Hanuman started burning Lanka in anger, and that anger was a spiritualized anger. So generally, the result of our anger is we lose our peace and we lose our proper consciousness. But that anger is of no use. The next point is devotees always realize that Supreme Lord is residing in every entity's heart. So this is a vision of advanced devotee. So if the other person trigger us and the person is in ignorance, there is no need for us to go into that ignorance. We can always act in knowledge. So, in case of Lord Varuna also, he understood that Hiraṇyākṣa is speaking with pride and he is in total ignorance. So, he is not taking to his heart. That's what we learn from these examples. The next one, he's saying that realized souls are representative of Lord. So, we are like all representing the Lord, like the Lord. So we should be the representative, and we can be very good in our behavior. We can be extremely exemplary in our devotee. What will be the difference between devotees and others? Like if we also start fighting like cats and dogs, so there is no use. So we are representatives of the God. And last but not the least, he says that anger is accepted only if it satisfies Lord. So we can be angry, it's good, but if it satisfies Lord. So generally we get to see that other people act for their satisfaction. They are becoming angry to feel good in their egos. But devotees' anger can only be for the satisfaction of the Lord and not for the satisfaction of their false ego. So these are some important advices given by Swayambhu Manu. And let's come back to the story of Varuna and Hiraṇyākṣa. Varuna controlled his anger and thus spoke these words. He said, I will not fight because I have grown too old to fight. Only Lord Vishnu can satisfy your desire, and you will get rid of your pride on reaching him. So I have seen is the reply that Lord Varuna gave. I remembered Nitya Kishori Mataji that actually Lord Varuna is using NVC tool over here. And so yeah. So Hiranyaksha actually neglected all these warnings. And this is the demonic spirit. He's a reckless person. He's not listening to all these things. And Hiranyaksha behavior is reckless, and we saw that in the quadrants. So next, let's move forward. Okay, this is a beautiful chart in Bhagavad Subodhini, and here we get to see that this is how the demon, that is Hiranyaksha, is criticizing. This is the meaning of the words that he used for Lord. And on the right side, we see that demon's indirect praises as given by acharyas. So when we go through these praises, actually these are indirect praises. We can all. I was also thinking we can always keep like Jai Vijay story in the background. So this is what at the surface level Hiranyaksh is speaking, but this is what actually he means. So he says like Vana Gochara, which means resident of the forest or water, but the indirect praise is Narayan who lies on the water. Mriga, he's calling him Mriga, animal, one who is sought after by great sages. The third one is Adnya, that is fool. He's calling Lord foolish, but we all know that there is no knowledge which is unknown to you. Then Suradhama, lowest of the demigods, lord of all demigods, therefore he is the best of all demigods or god. Mamekshata, in my presence, you are able to take away earth. Actually, the praise is in spite of my presence, you are able to take away earth. Nashvasti yashasi, you cannot go and not be heard by me. And here the indirect praise is unless you kindly take this earth from our custody, there can be no good fortune for us. So it feels like, this is spoken by Jai Vijay. That was my understanding, but devotees can correct me. Abhavaya, for killing the process of continued birth and death. And last one is Sucha, that is grief, material miseries are extinguished by Lord's Yogmaya. So we get to see that this Lord was very angry upon hearing those abusive words, but he laughed on hearing the other meaning. Lord is actually understanding the other meaning, which were praises. So this is Lord's fitting reply to Hiraṇyākṣa, and this reply has also two meanings. So let us understand. This is very nice. So Lord's fitting reply to Hiraṇyākṣa: give up all your foolish talk and wipe out the tears of your relatives by slaying us. One does not deserve a seat in an assembly if he fails to fulfill his promise. This is what Lord is saying. But what he is saying is also having the another meaning when we keep Jai Vijay in the background. Another meaning for the same statement can be filled with prema, you accepted the mood of a demon as a promise to give me the happiness in fighting. Therefore, make me happy by fighting and wipe your tears of bliss. So there is no knowledge that is unknown to Lord. Lord knows already, like he knows everything. And we feel like this is the story that we see, but this is something that only an insider or a devotee can know what's going on. Next, moving forward, being challenged, the demon becomes very angry, and Hiranyaksha actually got triggered. And then Lord Vara and Hiranyaksha they start striking each other with their huge gadas. And Lord Brahma, along with sages, they came to see the terrible fight. And Lord Brahma prays to Lord Varaha that, my lord, there is no need to play with this serpentine and wicked demons. Kindly kill him and establish peace. So, and what happens next after this, after prayers of Lord Brahma, that will be covered by Vrinda Gopi Mataji, where she will talk about killing of the demon Hiranyaksha by Lord Varaha. So, thank you all, dear devotees, for all your patience. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this was hands down one of the best classes. I mean, it was just perfect in everything. The illustrations, the depth of the points, and the practicality of the points, and so much cross-referencing different pastimes, and not only that, even the like the icing on the cake, the criticisms which were actually internally praises, and not just what Hiranyaksha was doing towards the Lord, but even the reply of the Lord. This was mind blowing. So yeah, thank you so much. You put so much effort. You're really good at this, Mataji. My heartfelt congratulations and appreciation to you for this. Really, thank you very much. It's too good.
Thank you, Proji. I've been taking inspiration from you, and I feel very fortunate that I'm getting contents of various exalted devotees. They have already kept everything ready. We just have to decide, take up what they said, what they have realized, and just share with each other. So, thanks to them, all of them.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I mean, this was, as Jagannath Gopal Prabhu said, it was one of the best classes, Bhagavatam classes, and all of your classes have been like this. I liked the whole quadrants of fear and healthy, unhealthy, and I really liked the ending. The last two slides where, again, as Jagannath Gopal Prabhu mentioned, the inner meanings. I mean, I've read this chapter many times, but I never knew that these inner meanings existed. And so thank you for bringing that out. That for me is going to be the highlight of your talk. So, and even though you covered so much material, you ended on time actually, exactly at 10 o'clock. So that's also commendable. Thank you, Mataji. Brilliant.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I just wanted to tell you, like, I was constantly remembering you when I was going through those quadrants. Because of you and Mataji, we all are in the healthy quadrants category. Otherwise, we would have been reckless and paralyzed by now. So, thank you so much, Prabhuji. You are actually protecting us.
Actually, one more thing that I was thinking of, the quadrants was superb. But then, like, are there specific strategies to move between quadrants, like from paralyzed to reckless? Like, if we do something more negative, then do we go like from one extreme of paralysis to other extreme of recklessness, or if there is some positive activity that you can do?
Mm.
Right? Of course, in general, you can say that, Krishna consciousness will take you from the fearlessness, yeah, reckless, like the negative to the positive quadrant. But that's in general. But getting more specific, that would have, yeah, that could be something we could all think about. Yeah. Anyway, just some thought. And another thing that I was thinking of, like it was brilliant that you mentioned, very interesting that you mentioned like two cases of apparent recklessness, right? Um, well, one was not apparent recklessness; it was actual recklessness. That was Dhruv Maharaj.
Mhm.
He just went on a rampage, killing all these the whole species itself, right? And
Mhm.
then we have Hanuman also. He also went on a rampage,
Mhm.
putting everything on fire in Lanka. And I was thinking of a third scenario because of a recent class, which is,
Mhm.
and that is the Bhagavatam section going on in Bhakti Center also. That is the cursing of the sages to the Yadus, right? That also seems very extreme and reckless. Like, Samba and few people commit that offense, and then suddenly the whole dynasty gets the curse, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm just thinking on these three. And Hanuman is glorified, in fact. Hanuman is glorified, and Maharaj, I don't know if Maharaj says, but this used to be told to us that Hanuman, the fact that he tried to burn Lanka, it's actually it's taken as a virtue of a good servant. That you give
Mhm.
a servant one task and then the servant does it so nicely and does something else as a bonus, right? That is considered as like the example of servitude, what Hanuman did. So,
Yes, yes.
yeah.
Also, while you were saying so many examples, it also reminded me that scene from Narsimha movie where Indra was kidnapping Kayadu,
Hmm.
and Narad Muni interfered, and like a mentor, and it's also like explained in the background, like why
Hmm.
do we need mentors and good guides,
या आपका
that they
उद्देश्य
can change our quadrant.
या आपके गुरु कौन है और उद्देश्य क्या है?
Hmm.
उद्देश्य is definitely there, I know. But yeah, basically, who do you go to for guidance and what is your motivation?
Yes, yes,
I remember that scene. It was a good scene.
yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Any other thoughts, dear devotees?
Brilliant class, Mataji. Thank you so much for this. I loved all your charts and also all the points that you mentioned. They were extremely practical and extremely useful. And you do such amazing research, Mataji. You collect mm, the gems from multiple classes and you bring it all together for us to make it really easy for us to grasp. So thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much, Krishna Prabhuji. Just want to give all the credits to all the devotees who are actually realizing this knowledge and they are sharing with others.
I'll just share a story today because I heard this just today, and I thought it is very relevant to this. We all talked about, about our dependence to Krishna. So I was talking to a devotee friend of mine on the, I was on the phone and I was talking to him, and suddenly his son called, and so he said, I have to keep the phone down. Let me answer the phone. Let me answer my son's phone. So he did that, and then he called me back, and then he said, uh, it's my young son who called, so I had to take the phone. But if my wife had called, I would not have taken her call. So I asked him why, because then he said that she's not completely dependent on me. She's fairly independent, and she doesn't need my help, but my son needs my help. So
Okay.
he was saying that it is, and he only shared this realization with me. He said that this is like when we are dependent on Krishna, then Krishna always listens to us. But
Yes.
if we feel like we are independent of Krishna, then he may not answer our calls.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it was
And remember, Krishna is a prankster, so even if he may be dependent on him, he sometimes will just ignore.
Mhm.
correct. But if our cry is sincere, he will.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Your example was a bit funny, Prabhuji. Because today, since morning, I was thinking Asura devotee, and now you have like distinguished between son and wife.
Yes.
So it's little bit funny.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you,
Should
Prabhuji.
we do one check, Albert?
Yeah.
I'll just be quick, sorry.
Yes. Okay, please.
So I wanted to acknowledge, like, Haribol, a wonderful class, Ashi Didi. Wanted to acknowledge that how your classes are about applied KC, like reminding how Krishna consciousness can be applied in different ways. Like they invoke us to like ask those questions. Where is my fear arising from? Is it healthy or is it not healthy? In the anger management points you brought up. Even your previous classes, I think the title for your classes should be like applied KC and then Aage. So yeah, I really like the practical points you bring and how you try to incorporate things you learn, like NVC you brought into, like how you connected this to NVC. It's all very amazing. Like not just listening, you try to find it in the scriptures and bring it to the attention. So yeah, I wanted to acknowledge those points. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Nupur, for your encouragement. This is something actually this particular skill I learned in my B.Ed course, where they teach us to connect every subject, and then you get the final picture. You remember, like when we were small, we had those drawings where we will connect from one, two, three, four. We keep on connecting, and at the end, you get the final figure in our drawing. So similarly, like my professors, I give all the credits to them actually. Like they have taught all of us like to connect the dots and give that experience to the ones who are listening. So thanks to them too. And thanks to all of you.
Very cool. It's amazing how you are using that in service of Krishna as well, like connecting the dots for Krishna.
You
Very
all are
awesome.
giving me opportunity, so I'm just using it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nupur.
Jai, Jai, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Awesome, awesome, awesome. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, हर ग्रेस ऐश्वर्या माता जी की जय।
Jai.
Hare Krishna.